Today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in Dinosaur Island by Pandasaurus Games. I played this a few weeks ago, was blown away by the component quality, and I wanted to talk about my favorite game mechanism in this game. Now, one thing that I've always struggled with as a designer is figuring out, in a Euro game in particular, how to give players a sense of danger, give them something that they need to mitigate. In some games like Agricola, food is the danger that you're facing. But I think in one thing I faced with some of my designs is I want there to be the feeling of danger and kind of unexpected danger, but give players enough Euro-style control that they don't feel that they feel like they have agency over their decisions and the agency over the risk mitigation that they take. And Dinosaur Island does this in a really interesting way. Basically, you are adding dinosaurs to your park, and when you add a dinosaur, you add, see this little dot right there? That represents the threat level of that dinosaur. So whenever you add a dinosaur token to this tile representing the Triceratops, you move up a slot on your threat level. So you move your token up on your threat level. This shows that you have a greater threat of the dinosaurs breaking loose and killing some of the people in the park. Different dinosaurs have different threat levels. I believe they go up 1, 2, 3. In the game that I played, I went after a very aggressive dinosaur, a T-Rex, something like a T-Rex, that had a threat level of 3. So it was a very high-scoring dinosaur. It meant a lot of people were interested in seeing this dinosaur and coming to the park and seeing it, but that my threat level went up 3 notches. And it stays that way because the dinosaur is still in your park and it continues to be in your park. One quick note. I love that more companies are doing these dual-layered player mats. I can assure you, after designing Scythe and producing Scythe, this is not easy to do. So kudos to Pandasaurus, and another company that does it is, I forget the company name, but they publish Summit. Connor over at Summit has a dual-layered player mat. Very hard to do, but definitely worth it. So you have this threat level. The threat level also increases because there's a dice drafting element to the game, and on these dice, there's usually, if there is a die left over, the threat level goes up by the amount on that die. I believe it is just like the die, if there are multiple dice, it's the one with the highest threat level. So this one is the 3. So if this one was left over after the dice draft, everyone's threat level for that round would be increased by 3. Now here's the cool thing about this. So this is a legitimate threat in the game. You're making choices that inform and increase this threat level, so you have control there, you have agency there, and it's perfectly visible going into every round. So you see what your threat level is on your mat based on the dinosaurs you're choosing. You see the die that's the last remaining die, which you can kind of use to screw over other players if you want, based on something I'll explain in a second. But you see all that information, it's all out there, and then the round continues, giving you time to decide if you want to increase your security over here to match or exceed the threat level. So if your security level is greater than or equal to the threat level, then at the end of the round, when threat becomes a problem, when you lose points if you have, or lose people who come to the park, they actually die, then you don't have to worry about it because you've done a good job of keeping your security up. On the other hand, you might ignore security. It's a choice for you in this game. It's not a random thing that happens. You have control over the threat, and you have control over the security that you build up to prevent that threat from actually being a problem. I really like this dual track method. I like that you have control over the things that you put in your park to impact the threat level. And I like that there is a little bit of player interaction in that, in the last die that isn't chosen matters for everyone's threat level for that round. I think this is a near perfect implementation of danger in a Euro game. If you have another game that you can think of, another Euro game that has danger, that still gives players plenty of agency and control over whether or not they're impacted by that danger, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Thanks.